Why did God really create humans? For centuries, we've been told simple answers: to worship Him, to serve Him, to obey Him. And while these are partly true, they don't explain the whole picture. What if the real reason is far more profound and far more mysterious than most people have ever been taught? Think about it. The universe was already filled with angels to worship God, stars to declare His glory, and creation itself singing of His majesty. So why would God go a step further and create us, fragile, questioning, often rebellious humans? Why take that risk? Why give us free will, the ability to love deeply, but also the ability to reject Him? Could it be that there's a hidden reason for humanity's existence, one that reveals not only who we are, but what God's plan for the universe truly is? That's exactly what we're uncovering today. Together, we're going to peel back the layers of tradition and dig into Scripture to find out the hidden reason God created humans, a reason that may completely change how you see yourself, your life, and your purpose. Before we dive in, if you're new here, welcome to the Bible and Reflection. This is the place where we go beyond surface-level teaching and wrestle with the mysteries, the questions, and the deeper meanings behind the stories of the Bible. If you want to be part of this journey, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.
When most of us think about creation, we picture it in very simple terms. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. A few verses later, the sun, moon, stars, animals, and then humans. Done. Story over. But if you've ever read Genesis slowly, you'll realize something. It's not written like a science textbook. It's a story layered with mystery, with rhythm, with intentional detail. And right at the heart of it, humanity shows up, not just as another creature on the list, but as the grand finale. Now, pause for a second and think about this. God had already made the birds of the air, the fish of the sea, and the beasts of the field. He had the angels in heaven worshiping Him day and night. He even had stars literally burning for billions of years, declaring His majesty. So, honestly, wasn't that enough? Did He really need to make humans, the only creature that would one day invent TikTok, taxes, and traffic jams? And yet, He did. Not only did He create humans, but He stamped them with something no other creature had: His own image. That's not a small thing. Genesis doesn't say lions were made in God's image. It doesn't say the mighty eagle reflects God's likeness. Nope, it says that we do. Fragile, often confused, often stumbling, sometimes brilliant, sometimes foolish humans. And this is where the story of creation goes deeper than we usually realize. Because being made in the image of God means humans were designed to be more than caretakers of a garden. We were given the ability to reflect God's nature in the world, to think, to create, to love, to imagine, to dream, and yes, even to laugh. Humor itself is a reflection of something divine, the ability to see irony, to twist perspective, to create joy out of words and moments. You'll never see a cow telling knock-knock jokes to another cow, but humans, we're wired for it. But there's more. The creation account subtly sets humans apart as partners in God's ongoing work. God forms Adam, breathes life into him, and then immediately gives him a task: naming the animals. Can you picture that moment? Adam sitting under a tree, a giraffe strolling by, and Adam going, let's call you Giraffe. Then maybe he sees a hippopotamus and goes, okay, that's just too big to ignore. Hippo it is. Somewhere in the process, he probably ran out of creative juice and just said dog, cat. And honestly, thank God he didn't call a dog something like fuzzy bark beast. Imagine saying, walk your fuzzy bark beast. Doesn't quite work. The point is, Adam wasn't just lounging around in paradise sipping coconut juice. He was working, creating, participating. Humanity was designed to take part in the rhythm of creation itself. And here's the hidden truth in all of this. Humans weren't created as an afterthought. We weren't a last-minute addition to the universe. We were the climax of creation, the only beings designed to consciously interact with God, with creation, and with each other on a level that carries eternal weight. So while Genesis 1 may look like a simple story on the surface, if you peel it back, you realize that humanity isn't just another creature in the lineup. We're the bridge between heaven and earth, the ones made to reflect divine glory in everyday life, even if that reflection sometimes shows up in imperfect ways, like trying to diet on Monday and giving up by Tuesday. The story of creation tells us that being human was never about survival. It was about reflection. It was about partnership. It was about stepping into a role that no other being, animal, angel, or star could ever fulfill. And that leads us into the deeper question. If we were made in God's image with such potential, then what exactly is our purpose? What is it that makes humanity essential to God's plan in ways no other creature could ever be?
So if chapter 1 showed us that humans were created in God's image and set apart from every other creature, the next big question is this: why? Why give humans free will, imagination, and creativity when he could have just made us like the animals, content, instinct-driven, and stress-free? I mean, think about it. The birds never worry about mortgage payments. Fish don't argue over politics. Lions don't need therapy because a zebra ghosted them. Yet here we are, human beings, constantly juggling questions about identity, purpose, and destiny. Why would God set us up this way? The answer is both simple and profound. Because we were not created merely to exist, we were created to participate. Let's slow down here. The Bible doesn't say God created humans because he was lonely. After all, God is self-sufficient. He had angels, the heavenly hosts, and the fullness of his own presence. No, humans weren't created to fill some cosmic loneliness. Instead, we were created to carry out something that even angels can't do. We were made to step into the unfolding story of creation with freedom, choice, and partnership. Now that sounds beautiful, but let's be honest, it also sounds risky. Giving humans free will is like giving a toddler a set of car keys. Something will go wrong eventually. And we see that with Adam and Eve, two humans placed in paradise, surrounded by beauty, love, and endless possibilities, and they go for the one fruit God told them not to touch. Classic human move, right? If you put up a sign that says, "Do not touch," you know someone is going to poke it just to see what happens. But here's the thing. That moment of choice wasn't a design flaw. It was part of the design itself. God wanted humanity to be capable of love that is chosen, not programmed. Worship that is intentional, not automatic. That's the hidden genius of why humans were made the way we are. Our ability to choose makes our reflection of God's image real. Let's take another angle. Look at Adam naming the animals again. That wasn't just a fun activity. It was God inviting humanity into his creative process. It's as if God said, "I've made the raw materials, but I want you to shape part of the story too. I want your fingerprints on creation." That's staggering. Out of all creatures, only humans get that level of invitation. And if we zoom out across Scripture, we see this pattern again and again. Noah is invited into God's plan by building the ark. Abraham is invited into covenant. Moses is invited into leading a nation. The prophets are invited into speaking God's voice to the people. And ultimately, humanity is invited into relationship with God himself through Christ. This is the hidden purpose. God created humans to partner with him in shaping creation and history, to bring meaning, choice, and relationship into the world in a way that no other creature could. And here's the humorous but sobering part. Sometimes we get it right, and sometimes not so much. Humanity has given the world breathtaking art, music, poetry, justice movements, and compassion. But we've also given the world traffic jams, spam emails, pineapple on pizza, still controversial, and reality TV. Our free will is both our greatest gift and our greatest challenge. But think about it. Without free will, without the ability to choose, love and creativity would mean nothing. If you were forced to love someone, is it really love? If you were programmed to worship, is it really worship? The hidden reason we exist is because God wanted partners who could choose Him, who could reflect His glory not by instinct, but by intention. That's what sets humanity apart. Not just that we're made in God's image, but that we have the ability to live it out or not. And in that freedom lies the incredible privilege and responsibility of being human. But this raises one more question. If God created us to reflect Him, to partner with Him, and to choose Him, what's the ultimate goal of it all? What's the end game? What does God really want humanity to accomplish in the grand scheme of the universe?
So far, we've seen that humans were created in God's image, set apart from every other creature, and given free will not as a flaw, but as a feature. An invitation to partner with God in the ongoing story of creation. But that leads us to the big question. What's the end game? What is the ultimate reason humanity exists? Because, if we're honest, human existence can feel confusing at times. We wake up, work, eat, sleep, and repeat. Sometimes it feels like life is just one long to-do list with laundry at the bottom. And if that's all there is, then being human doesn't seem all that special, does it? But Scripture and the very design of humanity points to something much bigger. Here it is. The ultimate reason humans were created is relationship. Now, that might sound simple at first, but let's unpack it. Relationship is not just about humans relating to each other. It's about humans relating to God. And through that relationship, bringing creation into its fullest expression. In other words, we are the bridge between the Creator and the created. Without humanity, creation would be beautiful but silent. With humanity, creation can sing, reflect, and respond. Think about it like this. God could have created a world full of robots, beings that do exactly what He says, no mistakes, no questions asked. But what's fun in that? Imagine sitting down to play chess with yourself. Sure, you'd win every time, but where's the thrill? God wanted relationship. Not with pre-programmed beings, but with conscious partners who could choose Him, question Him, wrestle with Him, and yes, even argue with Him sometimes. Just ask Jacob, who literally wrestled with God all night. Spoiler, he lost, but at least he got a blessing out of it. Here's where it gets even deeper. Humanity was created to experience God's love and reflect it back, not as mirrors, but as living canvases. Our creativity, our laughter, our struggles, even our pain, all of it becomes part of the relationship tapestry. We don't just reflect God by existing, we reflect Him by living, choosing, and engaging with the world around us. And let's add a touch of humor here. God knew what He was getting into. He knew humanity would mess up, that we'd invent wars, junk food, and Twitter arguments. But He also knew we'd create symphonies, write poetry, build communities, raise families, and show acts of kindness so divine that even the angels must look down in awe. The risk of giving us free will was worth it, because in that risk lies the potential for genuine love and authentic relationship. But here's the kicker. Relationship with God isn't about rules, rituals, or religion alone. Those things may guide us, but the heart of it is intimacy, knowing and being known. When Scripture says Adam and Eve walked with God in the cool of the day, it's describing something more profound than just a casual stroll. It's a picture of humans existing in harmony with their Creator, fully alive in relationship. This is the hidden reason. God created humanity not because He needed servants, but because He desired partners. Not because He needed worshipers, but because He wanted relationship. And not because He needed perfection, but because He wanted reflection. Imperfect, growing, messy, but deeply meaningful reflection of His divine image. And when you understand this, life takes on an entirely new meaning. Suddenly, your daily choices aren't random. They're opportunities. Your laughter, your creativity, your kindness, even your struggles are all part of a relationship that stretches into eternity. It means you're not just existing, you're participating in God's story, co-writing history with Him, one decision at a time. Of course, that doesn't mean it's easy. Being human is hard. We doubt, we fail, we struggle. But think about it. Even our failures are part of the story. The prodigal son didn't ruin the father's plan by leaving. His return revealed the father's heart in a way that wouldn't have been seen otherwise. Sometimes our brokenness reveals God's love more powerfully than our perfection ever could. And maybe that's the ultimate twist in the story. The hidden reason God created humans isn't just so that we could reflect Him when we're at our best, but also so that His grace, mercy, and love could be revealed when we're at our worst. Relationship, after all, is not about perfection, it's about connection. So yes, humanity is messy, but humanity is also magnificent. We are flawed, but we are also the centerpiece of God's grand design. The living, breathing reason creation itself can know the Creator. And that, my friends, is the ultimate purpose revealed. So, when you really think about it, God didn't create us just to fill space or because heaven was running out of choir members. He created us to reflect His image, to live in relationship with Him, and to play a role in His unfolding story that even angels marvel at. That's not small, that's cosmic. And maybe that's the hidden reason. You're not just existing, you're part of a divine masterpiece in progress. Now, before you run off and forget all this, do me a favor. Hit that like button if this made you think differently, subscribe if you want more deep dives like this, and drop a comment telling me, what do you think is the greatest reason God created humans? Let's wrestle with it together. After all, the Bible isn't just a book of answers, it's a book that makes us ask better questions. And who knows, maybe the hidden reason you're here right now is to subscribe. See you in the next one.